all of the patrons to hop in this live stream. I'm just going to do a little announcement for everybody who will be watching this later on YouTube. For those who don't know, this is a Patreon video that I release for my patrons at the beginning of every month that goes over the entire astrological happenings of the month, including all major starseed activation dates. And then I release it halfway through the month on YouTube for everybody else. So if this is something that you are enjoying and you want to find out everything that's going on in the month before it happens, or if you want to get the cosmic scoop in the beginning of the month and get those first 2 weeks in addition to the second 2 weeks, I'd recommend joining my Patreon. I'm gonna link the link below. I have several different tier options, and this video is included in the $5 tier and above. And then I have a couple of other options that we'll talk about throughout the night as I hit different points. So when we talk about the full moon, I'll talk about how I have a tier that includes a full moon dive deeper into the energy. So if you're really enjoying this and you want to dive deeper into the lunations, the major conjunctions, like the Great Conjunction we're going to be diving into later this month. And if you really enjoy my conspiracies and my rabbit hole dives that I used to do a lot more on Instagram, then I have a tier for that as well. So all different price options, whatever it is that works for you. And then it helps me continue to do this. It helps me not have to get a muggle job and to be able to translate the cosmos to all of you. So I did have a couple of announcements that I wanted to get to here in the beginning before we dive into the sky. Before I address the chat, because I'm going to get distracted. But hi, everybody. I see everybody hopping in. I also wanted to announce that my website will be launching on the winter solstice on the same day as our Great Conjunction, and I'm going to be releasing different products, t-shirts, and I am going to have a couple of readings available finally. I know a lot of people have been asking about if I'm doing readings, and I haven't been for quite some time, and I'm going to be offering a couple of new readings, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, I'm just going to check in with the chat really quick. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Melissa. Hi, everybody. So I'm going to dive into the slides, but just for the patrons, I want to let everybody know what is attached to the post on Patreon. So if you go to the post on Patreon, you'll see a couple of links. There's the link to our apprentice cheat sheet, which is an astrologer's apprentice cheat sheet. It has the ins and outs of the planets, the houses. It's really great for referencing your natal chart, which you should have with you right now. Also a pen, a journal, a calendar, stuff to write notes down on. You'll also see linked below that post a PDF of the calendar that I made. I'm going to have it here as a slide, but like I've said before, the resolution's not great. You can take a screenshot, but the PDF is better. That is linked on there as well. And then all of the slides from tonight's live are linked in there as well in a zip folder. And it has all the starseed activation dates on there. So you guys will have that to reference. And Melissa says the t-shirts are phenomenal. She highly recommends such great quality. Yeah, she was one of the first ones to get some sent to her. I mailed them to Canada for her. And Kelly is wearing her cosmic shirt right now. Well, perfect. I'm just wearing a sweater, but I had mine on earlier, or I had one of Eddie's shirts on earlier, his Difference clothing line, which we're going to have some of those available as well. And then my kids are going to have some of their little cosmic creations available as well. So it should be great. So I'm going to go ahead and go over here and start to get into the chart. So I have a bunch of notes to keep me on track. Before we get into the chart, I want to go through some of these slides though. So let me just go over here. This is just the picture of our thumbnail, and you guys know I always like to have a little sentence to kind of summarize the month, and this month it is the revolution will not be televised, but it is certainly here. And we'll get into that a little bit more later, but that's definitely where we're at. This is the calendar for the month. It has a breakdown of all of the transits, all of the major transits, the lunations, major activation days, and it's color coded. So like big planetary shifts from like a planet from one side into another, or from retrograde to direct, or vice versa, will be yellow. The blue ones are like big, energetic, like portal days, like when the sun aligns with the galactic center, the middle of eclipse season, things like that. All of the pink ones are the days of our lives, our live streams, and then the green ones are our lunations. And then we're going to go over all of this, but this is for you guys to take a screenshot of. And those of you who are patrons, you have a PDF of this available to download. And we're going to get into that later. So we'll come back to that. I'm going to go to the chart. Put this somewhere else that's like in my way. Okay. Oh, Kelly, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, the calendar is helping me so much, Kelly. I love the calendar. Then I can see how everything maps out. And I also have I typed up all the starseed activation dates on like a PDF. I guess I could upload that for you guys too, or maybe I'll link it on Discord. And by the way, if you join the Patreon, you have automatic access to our Discord community that Kelly has set up for us. Discord is like a gaming platform, like a gaming app where we can have our own private chat rooms about tons of different topics, and everybody can connect and get to know each other and post things themselves, have their own little rooms for all of their intuitive insights or the different metaphysical topics that they're currently diving into. We're just sharing things with each other. It's super fabulous. So that comes with every single tier, even the lowest one, which is just $3 a month, and you gain access to unlocked videos with that tier as well. All right, so in front of you, you will see the chart for December 1st. We're going to start at the 1st and just go over a couple of things that happened in the beginning of the month. Let me go over here so I can point at stuff. Okay, so as you can see, most astrologers' charts for this lunation, except for like Rick and me, I don't really know anybody else who has really been using quintiles and septiles, the purple and the light blue line. Most people would just have the green, the blue, and the red. But because Rick is my mentor, I have been diving into quintiles and septiles, the 7-pointed and 5-pointed stars of fate and magic that have been like suppressed aspects in astrology. And I've been using them a lot. And as you can see by the chart, and as we move through the month, there is a lot of purple or pink, however it's showing up for you, and a lot of this icy blue. And just think of that as fate, destiny, magic, higher dimensions, different realms of energy coming into this like mundane reality to activate us. On December 1st, we had a huge shift in energy. Our Mercury moved out of Scorpio, where it was deep in the recesses of our unconscious mind, diving deep into the shadow, every corner of our dark, like inner consciousness. It was diving deep. It was working with Chiron. It was working with a lot of different planetary bodies to really dive into some core wounds and transmute some shit. And many of us dove deep into depths we have not been in a very, very, very long time. And when Mercury transited out of Scorpio and into Sagittarius on the 1st, we got to finally start to move out of that like intense energy of just like pure transformation and death, rebirth, cutting and purging, letting go, transforming, and we got to start to point our arrow in the direction of something new. Our mind shifted from that like deep penetrating detective trying to like decode the cosmos by decoding the self. It switched to more of like a philosophical mindset. And that's where we're at now. We have both the sun and Mercury in Sagittarius. So our focus now, and we have a Sagittarius eclipse coming up. It's Sagittarius season. We are really focused on the Sagittarius energy. And the South Node is there. So the South Node is a comfortable energy. We're leaning in on some of this because that is where the wisdom is held. So South Node is everything that we bring with us from like a past incarnation in a natal chart. So yes, that includes like all of our negative traits, any sort of like karmic debt, but it also includes any sort of like inherent wisdom or any sort of like past gifts that we cultivated in a previous lifetime. That is what the South Node holds. So this eclipse that we're going to be coming up to in Sagittarius season in general, because it's focused around the South Node, is really about tapping into that philosophical mind, expanding our vision, like being the expanded visionary, and really exploring the higher realms, because that is where we're going to be able to tap into this inherent wisdom that we already have from something else. Really, we're going to see later about how that is coming a lot from like these Atlantean timelines and even Lyran timelines. That's where a lot of this energy is coming from, that these septiles and quintiles, these fate and magic aspects are funneling into us. They're funneling this energy through these parallel, because there's no such thing as time, so they're not past timelines, but like parallel realities, otherworldly realms. And these are things that we've had before that we can easily tap into. The North Node is things we have to strive for, things we're supposed to attain, that we, as this soul imprint, doesn't necessarily have yet. It's the path that's harder to take. This is actually quite comfortable. It's familiar. This is harder, but it's very, very rewarding. But right now, this eclipse that we're coming up to in a couple of days is really going to be asking us to have a brand new beginning here in something that we already are bringing in from like this portal that we have found ourselves in. And the good thing is it is a solar eclipse, so there's really not much work that you have to do except for kind of tap in and allow this to happen, because this is like a cosmic redirection point where these things are just like funneling in. Now, I do want to note that this Sag energy, particularly this Mercury in Sag with the sun, it can manifest in a multitude of ways. So while it can manifest as like visionary insight, it can also manifest as like majorly bigoted beliefs. So like just bypassing facts altogether for the sake of like an idea or a belief, or expanding the mind. It has that dual sword like most things do. So this is going to be energy we're going to be feeling throughout the month. On the 4th, I'll come in and check in with the chat periodically if anybody has any questions. So on the 4th, Mercury trined Chiron. So Mercury, which had just entered Sagittarius, trines Chiron in Aries. We're going to talk later about how Chiron, who actually is about to station direct, is on top of the Super Galactic Center. These are really big activations. We have Super Galactic Center, Galactic Center, and Andromeda activations all this month, plus a great conjunction on the winter solstice. It's just a big month in general. But this Mercury trining Chiron is the last big download that we are going to get in regards to all this work that we've been doing on these core wounds. So Chiron goes direct. Let me just see here exactly when it is. On the 15th. So on the 4th, when it comes into this trine with Mercury, our mind, this is when we get that last big download of what it is we've been working on, because we've been working while he's been retrograde, really working on integrating some core wounds. When he goes direct, we're going to have moved past that hurdle. We would have done that last little push of integration, and then a new Chiron cycle is going to begin. Some new core wounds revolving around the self, our persona, the masks we wear for the world, our anger, aggression, our primal recesses of our psyche, all Aries type energy, war type mentality, all of those reptilian flight or flight type energies. That's what we're working through right now. And we've worked through something has come up. You've worked on processing it. This Mercury trine really helped to like solidify that for you. Mercury trining Chiron is a beautiful aspect. And it really brought that wound integration into our consciousness where we could see, oh, look, I've processed this. I've moved past this. I can let go of this. And we have a little bit of time to breathe before we're going to start a new cycle. So congratulate yourself. I know we've all been doing a lot of work through Scorpio season, and just know we are past a big Chiron hurdle. And now we can start to tap into the wisdom that integration holds, so that we can then help others and heal the collective as we heal ourselves, because that's what Chiron is all about. I'm just going to look at my notes here. Final lessons, wisdom. Okay, I said all that. All right, so on the 5th, this was yesterday, Venus trined why can't I talk? Neptune. The same day that our sun aligned with the great attractor. So I'm not going to dive too far into what exactly the great attractor is right now. One, because people don't even really know. And two, I did just put a post on Instagram, so feel free to read that if you want some of the more technical aspects. But for the sake of time, it is a point in the sky that astronomers and astrophysicists don't really fully understand, but they do believe it is a very dense part of our universe that is attracting galaxies and cosmic energy, and they believe it houses either like dark matter or something along those lines, but it is a very important energetic point. And our sun aligned with that point yesterday, the same day that Venus trined Neptune. So Venus trining Neptune is a beautiful transit. I bet you were feeling extremely creative yesterday. Really wanting to express yourself through beauty, through music, through art. I made a bunch of talisman yesterday to launch on my website. That Neptune Venus transit, also dreams have been on lock lately because Neptune is in a cardinal T square. I mean, not a cardinal, a mutable grand cross with this eclipse season. So we've really been having a lot of dreams, and this Venus in Scorpio and Pisces at home. I mean, Neptune at home in Pisces, the sign that rules dreams, the planet that rules dreams. We've really been focusing on our dreams, beautifying our life, beautifying our reality and our dreams within our reality, like manifesting them or like trying to envision them, because eclipse season really has you start to pick a new trajectory and see like, where am I going? What am I doing? And then things are shown to you so that you can take a new path. pay attention to your dreams this month because Neptune is really speaking very strongly and has just gone direct. So really we're being asked to lean more into that like spiritual side, the philosophical side, the spiritual side, and try to expand to understand. So that brings us up to today, which I had a little post about this today. The main energetic energy of today is two different quincunxes. So you see these green lines in here. Those are quincunxes. So we have Saturn quincunx, I mean, not Saturn, Venus quincunx Mars, and Mercury quincunx Uranus. So those are the two main energies that we have. Venus and Mars. Why is that not making it? Okay, it is, but it's being covered up by this one. Okay. Those are just really irritating aspects. These planets are really ticking each other off. They're not working well. So if you felt super irritated today, this is why. And I did a little post just to warn people. I don't normally do posts on quincunxes because they're more just, I try to focus on more of like the larger transits and conjunctions and things like that occur, lunations and stuff like that. But this one, I just really felt super strongly, and I felt I should give a little bit of a forewarning that you might be super annoyed today, but this energy does not last. So this brings us to tomorrow, which is the midway point of eclipse season. So we are smack dab between our lunar and solar eclipse tomorrow. And this is that feeling of being like in limbo. We have one foot in this reality, one foot out this reality, and we're everywhere at once and everywhere in between. I understand this energy really well because I was actually born smack dab between a lunar and solar eclipse. And you're just like kind of here in this realm, but you're kind of somewhere else. And you're in that perpetual state of change. You're constantly evolving. You're constantly not in that stagnant motion. You know that you're just one step behind you was a big change, and one step in front of you is another big change. And that's kind of where we're at right now. And that's the best way I can explain it because that's literally my life. So that is tomorrow. And we're smack dab in the middle of the portal. So you can really expect to like tap in during that day to kind of tune in and see like, what is this eclipse story? How is this eclipse story playing out for you? I'm just going to check in with the chat really quick before we continue on and make sure everything is okay. Are we good? Okay, because I'm just making sure that I don't get glitched out. Kelly, by the way, I have my phone here in case I get glitched out. Oh, good to know. That's Melissa's husband's birthday, and she really needed to sleep today. Yeah. I've been waking up a lot around 3 a.m., says Erica. Yeah, for me, for sure. Like waking up and I don't even normally dream, and I'm having weird dreams. And so is my boyfriend, but he has like a 12th house stellium, so he always has weird dreams. But yeah, it's been weird. All right, so let's go back over to the chart, and we're going to continue on. So this is the 7th. This is tomorrow, smack dab in the middle of eclipse season. And the moon that day, tomorrow, is going to meet up with the asteroid Atlantis, which is a key player in this eclipse story. If you guys remember from our last video, we're going to be talking about this more during our solar eclipse live, which is going to be on the 12th. That live is included in the $33 tier and above. That tier includes the rabbit hole video, the new moon video, the full moon video, this cosmic forecast, and access to the Discord community. So if this is something that you really enjoy and you want to dive deeper into like the archetypes and the energies, I definitely recommend joining that Patreon tier because we will be diving way deeper into the asteroid Atlantis during that live. So on the 9th, our sun squares Neptune. So our sun has been playing with Neptune throughout this entire eclipse season. And now it comes into its exact square, leading up to the eclipse, where it is also still going to be squared Neptune. And it's playing off of the asteroid Atlantis as well, because when it squares Neptune, it is also squaring Atlantis over here. It's actually making a grand cross with the nodes and Neptune and the asteroid Atlantis. And this is bringing a ton of confusion. So the sun square Neptune, and Neptune rules illusions, it rules delusions, it rules spirituality, it rules magic. But it doesn't rule clear consciousness, which is something that Mercury and the sun in Sagittarius really want to think philosophically. They want to expand, and they want you to and Neptune wants you to think more outside the box in a more like spiritual sense, less tangible. This is more tangible than this. This is extremely beyond the veil and into a whole nother realm of illusion and fantasy and not necessarily truth. When Sagittarius is very driven on like what is real, what is true, and how can I discover this? So these are definitely at odds with one another. And this brings a sense of like uncertainty with our like life direction. So while we're really going to be tapping into this eclipse season and feeling this sense of like redirection, this aspect on the 9th is going to have us like second guessing everything and getting super in our head. So make sure that that deception and the illusion is not something that you are just creating in your own mind. Try to get out of your head and just be mindful on this day of any sort of information that comes through, because it is not as it seems. And I have some notes here I just want to cover. I said about Atlantis, uncertainty in life. I said all that. Major. Okay, so this is like a major limbo period because we're in between eclipses, and then we have this like Neptunian aspect that's just kind of has us in between two worlds. So if you feel like that, just know like that's the way you're kind of supposed to feel, because you are legit in between two worlds right now. These eclipses are recalibrating you and setting you onto like a whole new world. It's helping us to shift timelines, close out cycles, and evolve. But we're feeling like we're being pulled by all directions. We're being pulled from the past. We're being pulled from a sense of like duality and like what is the different polarizations within our reality. We're being pulled between our own beliefs and what we feel is true and all of the illusions that surround us. We're just being pulled. So try to find that center point. That's going to be a lot of what this month is going to be about, is trying to focus and navigate and keep the manic energy that is going to be coming through with a lot of these aspects at as low as possible. I'm using a lot of petrified wood. That's helping, but I'm definitely feeling the like manic-y vibes this month, and it's not going away anytime soon. We have a lot of like interstellar activations coming through different star systems, different galaxies, a lot of Neptunian and Uranus activations. Shit is just electric, and it really needs to ground down. So make sure you're finding ways to ground. So on the 10th, Pluto squares Eris. So this is an aspect that we have been dealing with, 23 degrees and 23 degrees, that we have been dealing with all year and will be dealing with into 2021. This is the third and final square between these two planets. The first one was on January 27th. The second one was on June 15th. And this final one is happening on like the 10th or the 11th, depending on where you are at. And this Eris is the reason why Pluto was demoted from a planet to a dwarf planet in 2005. pre-2005, Pluto was totally a planet. They had thought about it, but they never made him anything less than a planet. He was a planet. And then when they discovered Eris, who is about the same size, she has an orbit 3 times as long as Pluto's, which is literally the same size as him, rather than making her planet X, they called her planet X for a while, but rather than making her the 10th planet, they made her a minor planet, a dwarf planet, and him as well. And they have similar energy, but they go about it differently. It's kind of like chaos and transformation and like annihilation versus like evolution. So Eris destroys to create change, and she doesn't necessarily care if that change is for the better. She just doesn't like the stagnant energy, and she wants to kind of shake things up, and she knows that through that chaos, it will eventually, and through the rubble, will eventually grow into something more evolved. But the process that Pluto takes is more of like an alchemical process of like destroying in order to have that like phoenix moment up from the ashes. So we're having a little bit of a battle here between these two energies, and honestly right now they're both needed. Some systems will not fall through Pluto. Sometimes he is still the planet of power, and the system here in Capricorn can still very much cultivate this Plutonian energy for that control and power. And you need a little bit of Eris to break that shit down. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And we've been seeing this happen all through 2020, and we're going to see it through into 2021. Mars is going to conjunct Eris the same day as the Great Conjunction, which will square Pluto. The Great Conjunction will not square Pluto, but the Mars-Eris conjunction will square Pluto the same day that the Great Conjunction happens here. It's going to be a huge day. And this is energy that's been building all year. I know you guys can feel this. You don't need to be an astrologer to feel that we've been building up to something. Well, this month is what it is we've been building up to. All right, so, I have more notes here. Oh, Pluto also sextiles Venus that day. So while Eris is squaring Pluto, Pluto is sextiling Venus. So that's actually a really nice transit that like will deepen our existing relationships, particularly because one, Capricorn is stable and loyal, and so is Scorpio. And Venus in Scorpio is really, really diving into those, like, to solidify those intense, deep relationships. Nothing frivolous, only the most core relationships within our life. And this transit is really here to help solidify those. So while the world is falling apart, you are becoming closer to those closest to you, and that's kind of like the dual edge of this year. You know, it's how should I word this? Dark, like we come together through dark times, you know, and that's going to be part of the theme of this Great Conjunction and the planets transiting through Aquarius is putting aside our differences and coming together. I heard an astrologer say earlier, I can't remember what they were referencing, but they said they were talking about Aquarius, and they were talking about how they love humanity, but they hate people. They are the most detached of all the signs, and they really hate most quirks, most traits about people, but they love humanity. And that's really the energy that we need to be tapping into. We're starting first with our deep relationships, and we're solidifying those soul bonds and being able to like move past the things that irritate us or bother us, so that we can see people on their like deep soul levels. Scorpio can see right into your fucking soul. So that then we can start to do that with others, because that's what a lot of these Aquarius placements are going to be about. We have to come together against this system. And to do that, we're going to have to put together so many of our differences. Whether people annoy us or not, humanity is the focus here. So let me see if I have anything else here. Oh, and the Pluto transit is also going to be great for like artistic energy. So on the 10th, if you're wanting to create anything, this is a really great chance, and it will help to channel in this super intense energy of this Eris square into something valuable and probably beautiful and artistic and not so volatile, because this energy is coming through, right? All of this energy is coming through this month, and we could just wait around to see how it fucking manifests, or we can be like, oh, this transit's happening today. I'm going to manifest it into this painting. I'm going to manifest it into my website. I'm going to manifest it into this journal entry. I'm going to manifest it into something so that it doesn't randomly manifest into my life in a crazy and chaotic fashion, which eclipse season can very much be. Which brings me to the 11th. So this is when we really start to feel some sort of motion. On the 11th, our sun comes into a trine with Mars. So earlier in the day, right now it's at 20 degrees and 19 degrees. So I'm not sure exactly what time it happens, but it happens before noon when our sun trines Mars. Now our sun is our vital essence. It's our consciousness. It's what we can see, what we can grasp. Mercury's there as well. So this is what we can see, what we can grasp, what we can understand in our like analytical, logical mind, our consciousness, what it is that's in our reality, in our sphere. And we're going to start to have been integrating some truths through Sagittarius season. And when the sun comes into this trine with Mars, the planet of action, of drive, of initiation, who remember has been retrograde for a really long time and is square all of these Capricorn planets, well, is about to come back into a square with these planets on the 21st. It'll come back into a square with Pluto. And then later, Jupiter and Saturn. But on the 21st, we'll come back into an exact square with Pluto. He's ready to take some sort of action, and he's probably a little bit pissed. This is leading up to the inauguration, which is in a couple of days. We have a lot of things happening throughout the month with, I hate even saying it, the vaccines, mandates, lockdowns. So many countries are protesting right now. And I mean, mark my words, by the end of December, America will be too. And if not, I will be shocked with the amount of transits that we have happening with Uranus and the Aquarius. I can't see us not protesting by the end of the month. So this Sun trine Mars is a what the heck do I have here? Action, same time, is caught in this mutable ground. New path forward are triggered, as is our anger, aggression, inner fire, act rationally. Okay, so I said we're feeling this urge to take action the same time that we're kind of caught in this Atlantean Grand Cross. So remember how I said it feels like we're being pulled in all directions? Well, you're still going to be feeling that. We haven't got to the eclipse point yet. And this is when you start to feel like some sort of action needs to be taken, and it starts to come into your consciousness as to what that action might be. The paths forward start to be illuminated for you or like triggered in some fashion, but it's probably going to be triggered by things like anger, aggression, your inner fire being activated by something, some form of truth, I'm betting, some sort of information that comes through. And then I just wrote here, please make sure you act rationally, because we need to be smarter than the system right now. And we have a lot of triggering aspects that are triggering out new core wounds for us to integrate. We're being triggered for a reason, but make sure that you're allowing those triggers to manifest in ways that are beneficial for the evolution of not just your own timeline, but humanity's as well. So on the 12th, this is when we have our eclipse live stream. So the eclipse isn't until the 14th, but I definitely don't want to meet during any sort of like lunation anymore, any sort of eclipses, because I really want us to have those times for ourselves so that we can really sit with this energy and really, really work with it. So I definitely want to start meeting beforehand, which we have been doing. So on the 12th, we're going to be diving deeper into this Atlantean connection. We're also going to be diving deep into the Ophiuchus and Orion connection because this eclipse falls on Orion's belt in the head of Ophiuchus or Ficus. We're going to be talking a bunch about the Great Conjunction, which falls just days after the eclipse. And this is included with the $33 tier. And I really appreciate everybody's support. It really makes me able to do this. I really couldn't do this without you, and I appreciate everybody so much. So on the 12th, we will be diving deep into the eclipse. On the 13th, Mercury comes into a square with Neptune. So this is bringing more confusion, okay? Nothing is going to be as it seems this month. Even the information that comes through the eclipses is coming through a Neptunian filter. So please, it's like decoding a dream. Anything that comes through right now, do not take literal. Take it like you would read an esoteric text. You know, there is a thread of truth and a thread of like, magic that you definitely need to be tapping into. You want to be channeling in this spiritual energy. You want to be manifesting through creativity, but you really want to be mindful of being led astray, of escape tactics, of misinformation and things like that, because it is going to be everywhere. I have written here illusions. Nothing is as it seems. Question everything. This is going to bring confusion. It's going to feel like a Mercury retrograde. Our communication will not be clear at all. And information coming through to us, to our mind from anywhere else is not going to be clear at all either. Neptune actually rules like left-wing ideology, while Uranus rules right-wing ideology. So I find it interesting that a lot of the misinformation might be coming from the left. So keep that in mind. While a lot of the aggression later is going to be coming from the right, but we'll get to that later. So confusion, like a retrograde, our communication will not be clear or easily understood. Be mindful, there will be distortions, misinformation, false flag scenarios, psyops, perhaps. Just keep your eyes and mind open, is what I wrote right here when I start channeling the chart. Which brings us to our eclipse, which I'm not going to get too far into here. I'm not going to really get far into it much at all, but we are going to talk about this day a little bit and go over the notes that I have here. But if you're interested in really diving deep into this lunation, I recommend joining my Patreon. So this eclipse falls at 23 degrees of Sagittarius, and it actually falls conjunct the head of Ophiuchus, known often as the 13th sign, although I don't like to put him into a sign system because I think he transcends the zodiac and he leads your way to the galactic center and source consciousness, and really moving past a lot of these like planetary effects that these planetary cycles have on us, and really starting to like co-create with this energy instead of just like kind of like one cosmic lesson over another after another after another. It's like, okay, I can I've seen the lessons, I can start to work the lessons, and now I can also start to work some magic because I'm co-creating with this all-encompassing force that I now understand as myself. And this eclipse is really going to have us start to focus on this truth, focus on our beliefs, and start a new chapter when it comes to that. We are going to be diving deep in philosophically, and after this eclipse, we are going to be looking at things completely different. This eclipse falls the same day that the Electoral College votes, and it falls exactly on Trump's eclipse chart. So we're going to talk about that a little bit during our video as well. It actually falls directly on his moon. It actually falls directly on my moon too, and Kelly's moon. And opposite his sun, because he was born on a lunar eclipse. And his eclipse is conjunct Uranus, so he is going to be super erratic on that day and very, very unpredictable. I wouldn't even be surprised if something like martial law is called to do a whole new recount or something crazy like that. I do not see him going out without a bang. Expect the unexpected, and the aftermath could very well be full-blown protests and riots. The eclipse story is tied to the George Floyd riots. It's tied to Biden's winning at the primaries, or cheating at the primaries. It's tied to the election, and it's tied to the protest movements here in America. So this is things that we can see come up again throughout the rest of this eclipse story, and probably, let's be real, totally are going to. So this same day, we have Mercury trining Mars, Mercury here, trining Mars in Aries, and Venus here, sextiling Jupiter. These are both harmonious aspects, and they help us begin to see through some, but not all, of the illusions, take action on both a collective and personal basis, and let our voice kind of like be heard, particularly this Mercury trining Mars. It lets us finally start to speak some of this truth. Doesn't mean people are going to listen, but you know, your crew will. And we've spent this year kind of finding that. And from here on, we have to just see how we navigate this. But truths are going to be coming through, and we're going to have to be taking some action. The Venus sextile Jupiter actually brings some pretty like peaceful vibes. That these are both of our astrology's beneficial planets, and they work together again to help us work with our loved ones, to help us work in tandem to expand together. I just want to see what I wrote here. So starting something new, the cosmic reset. Yeah, I said all this. Okay. So from there, we move to the 15th when Venus joins the Sagittarius party. So this is going to really move us out of the deep scorpionic waters and into that more optimistic, funny, hilarious Sagittarius energy that is just more lighthearted and optimistic. The arrow is pointed towards the future, and we can start to envision something different, new, better, expansive. This is the same day that Chiron goes direct. So we really are going to be starting something new. Chiron will be stationing direct at 4 degrees of Aries. So it's just 2 degrees away from the supergalactic center in opposition. So these core wounds spanned dimensions. These core wounds spanned like the multiverse. We don't even know what's on the other side. The supergalactic center is the black hole that the Milky Way and 27 other galaxies rotate around. Chiron has been transiting this point for quite some time and stations direct practically on top of it. And we're getting another big burst of these like cosmic downloads from other realms that are helping us to fucking heal massively, and in like in rocket ship bursts of like purging, healing, growing, expanding, and that's where we're at. And we're really channeling in a lot of wisdom faster than ever before. It's like we're just ready for the next round. You know what I mean? I think many of us have realized this is what we're here to do. And when before we would hide from a lot of these activations, now we're stepping more into that like teacher shaman role that Chiron's archetype also symbolized, as opposed to that like wounded healer that's like focused so much on the trauma and on the wounds. Now he's like, no, I have moved past that, and now I have the wisdom, and I'm here to help train heroes, because that is what Chiron did. He trained the greatest heroes of the Greek pantheon, and that is what we're here for now. We're literally training the heroes to come and help save the fucking world, and that is the Chiron archetype that you can step into, particularly once he stations and has this new cycle start. Now, that will also come with work. A healer is never fully healed. So no, with great power comes great responsibility, and this life, it's a lifestyle. You're never done. This requires a constant transformation of the self, and that's where we're at. Many of us are, and many of us have come to terms with this. And this Chiron retrograde here in Aries has really helped a lot of us come to terms with the fact that this is never ending, and we may as well just dive the fuck in and gain as much deep inner knowledge of the self and therefore this reality as we can. So let's see. All right, I said all that. So on the 16th, Saturn enters Aquarius. Let's find out what time. Last time Saturn entered Aquarius, we had the protests. The time before, he was just there for a second, and then he was like dipped in, and then he went back because of retrograde. He went back in, and that is when the protests really started to pop off. The time before that was when we had about 10 p.m. about 9 p.m. The time before that was when we had the Rodney King riots. That was the last time, that's 30 years ago, the last time that Saturn was in Aquarius. This is also going to signal the Saturn return for anybody who has Saturn in Aquarius. You've had a little taste of it earlier this year, but now Saturn's in there to stay, and you have some work to do. You have some restructuring to do, and it's going to have a lot of expansion the same time that you are having a lot of like restructuring, because you have Jupiter coming right behind Saturn and will bypass him as well. So from the 15th on, we have like a whole bunch of things happening in a row. So on the 15th, Saturn goes direct on the supergalactic center, and Venus enters Sag. On the 16th, Saturn enters Aquarius. On the 17th and 18th, our sun is aligned with the galactic center. The 17th. On the 17th and 18th, our sun is aligned with the galactic center. This is, it happens twice a year, one through opposition and one through conjunction. The galactic center is here at 26, 27 degrees of Sagittarius, and this is the only time of year that our sun aligns with it. Our consciousness here in this life, in this earthly realm, the sun, our vital life force, is in alignment with its sun, because our sun revolves around the galactic center. The galactic center is known as the sun of our sun, and we are going to be having major downloads, insights, galactic information, codes flowing through. Definitely make sure that you find time to tune in. Mercury is also going to be aligned with it on this exact same day. Our consciousness is on lock, and being able to take the information and funnel it into our logical, analytical mind to be able to use it, actually use it here in this tangible realm, grasp it, understand it, expand upon it, which is Sagittarius. And then teach it to others, perhaps, because Sagittarius is also the guru, the teacher, and all those things. So then on the 19th, Jupiter enters Aquarius and our sun conjuncts Mercury on the galactic center. So on the 19th, we have our sun conjunct Mercury right on top of the galactic center and Jupiter entering Aquarius. They both are at 0 degrees. They don't actually conjunct until the 21st, but I mean, come on, this is a Jupiter Saturn conjunction, the same day that we have our sun and Mercury conjunct the galactic center. And Eris and Mars are about to conjunct too in just a couple of days. This is massive. This is just like, oh, and Black Moon Lilith and Aquarius and Uranus as well. And it's all working with energy through sextiles. It's just like otherworldly, fated. You can't make this up. Any one of these conjunctions is huge in and of itself. And they're all happening at the same time. This month it will not disappoint. It's definitely going to set us on some crazy new trajectory. And hopefully it is a new beginning. 0 degrees is the sign of new beginnings, the degree of new beginnings for humanity, the collective, that is progressive. This is all Aquarius energy. Now, this will also revolve heavily around technology, dangerous technological advancements. The same time that humanity is really starting to come together, we're also going to be being extremely pushed apart by the technocracy that is growing. So Aquarius has a double-edged sword, just like every other sign, planet, transit. It all can manifest a multitude of ways. So on the 20th, really? On the 20th? I mapped this all out. I don't think that happens. I thought it was the 21st. It says on the 20th, Mercury enters Capricorn. Maybe I did the math and that's why I got it. Whatever. On the 20th or the 21st, probably depending on where you live, Mercury enters Capricorn. So Mercury, the planet of communication, is going to enter Capricorn, or the sun enters Capricorn on the 21st. Mercury, there you go. Mercury enters it on the 20th. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Mercury on the 20th, the sun on the 21st, which is the same day as the solstice. So we'll get to the 21st in a second. The day before the solstice, the day before the great conjunction, Mercury is going to enter Capricorn. Mercury is the planet of communication. We're going to expect to see some sort of information or announcement, something coming from the system. The focus is going to be on our leaders, particularly like the executive branch and those systems that fall within the Capricornian patriarchal systems of control and structure and also finance. So through the eclipse, through the solstice, which we've already heard them say that the vaccine should be ready on the 21st, you have to realize these people use astrology. They know what's happening and they're trying to use it, one, for manifesting their own agendas, just like we manifest our intentions. They want to cultivate. I'm releasing my website on the Great Conjunction, and it's a fabulous electional astrology date to really harness sustainable growth. The Great Conjunction starts a new 20-year cycle. It's really starting a new 200-year cycle in air, but we're going to get into that more during our eclipse video. We're not going to get into that too far now, but what it does is going to start is a new 20-year cycle. Whatever is initiated on the winter solstice, whatever new beginning is initiated, is something that is going to play out over 20 years. It is a sustained story. It is not a short-lived transit. This is going to play out. We're going to have a big another initiation when we have a square, when we have an opposition, when we have a final square, and then it'll close out with another great conjunction. And that's a long story. We don't know where this is going to go, but it's here for huge structural change. This aspect, this conjunction is known to trigger the rise and fall of dynasties. This is going to have a lot to do with technology, with information, with the collective coming together against the system, a lot of rebellion, revolution. It's going to be a lot. We're going to dive heavily into the history of this conjunction and all of the ins and outs during our eclipse video. Yeah, so I think I went over everything. This day is huge. It has, first of all, this is still considered conjunct to the galactic center on that day. We have the 0 degrees. Oh, how interesting. Our sun and Mercury conjunct at 0 degrees of Capricorn the same day that Saturn and Jupiter conjunct at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So 0 degrees is a new beginning. This is going to be a new beginning on like communication when it comes to the system and rebellion against the system, really, and then transforming that system all at the same time, because Pluto is staying behind to transform. It's going to be eventful, man. I'm really interested to see what's going to happen at the electoral college vote, and then what's going to happen throughout the rest of the month. But it's definitely, these are life-changing times. These transits are like nothing anybody's seen before. It's mind-blowing. It really is. So on the 23rd, Mars, which is now conjunct Eris, really igniting that, need for chaos to kind of shake things up and rattle the system and create change through releasing stagnant energy. Mars is going to be conjunct Eris and a square Pluto. And this is really going to be igniting a lot of the aggression, a lot of the like breaking down of systems to create something new. It's going to be intense. It's definitely going to be intense from the Great Conjunction on and into 2021, as we have a lot of like Uranus, the planet that rules Aquarius and is the planet of rebellion, revolution, progressive reform, will be squaring this conjunction throughout much of 2021. So it really is going to be triggering the revolution. That's really where we're at right now. I know that if you guys follow me, you know about all the protests that are happening in a plethora of different countries that the mainstream media is not reporting on at all. And that is why I titled this video, "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised, but It Is Certainly Here, and We're in it. And now we need to figure out how to navigate it." And that's kind of where we're at. So on the 23rd, oh, we said that already. That's when Mars squares Pluto, and this is bringing transformative action with the goal of transformation. And now keep in mind, Eris is there, so this could be very, very, very chaotic, but it's chaotic in order to transform. A square is 2 different planets with opposing energies that are seeking the conflict in order for needed change to occur. So this is like needed conflict, and the change that is going to occur, it is, as we know, extremely needed. So this brings us to Christmas. And on Christmas, we have a couple of different aspects happening. So not only will our great conjunction still be extremely close, a great conjunction, we're going to talk about how it is often called the Christmas star. And this is because it's said that the Star of Bethlehem that supposedly happened in 6 BC was the great conjunction that happened in 6 BC of Jupiter and Saturn in the sky. And that is what the 3 wise men, the 3 magi, which were Zoroastrian priests or magicians, pretty much, And therefore, astrologers and astronomers, which followed the planetary cycles, that is what they followed in order to know that there was going to be a huge new chapter starting, and that the Messiah was born and that Christ was born. So this happening on Christmas, it's a sign that this energy is coming through again. This is a new chapter starting. Now, I'm going to go over to the slides really quick, just because I have some slides from one of my patrons, whom I absolutely adore. And she has a fabulous Instagram called Virgo Moon Alchemy, who you totally need to follow right now. Her name is Julie Moon Andromeda. These are some of the slides that she made in reference to the Great Conjunction, to kind of address some of this like Age of Aquarius talk that a lot of people are talking about. And if you guys were in my Ophiuchus Live, you know that I had mentioned how the ages are tied to sidereal astrology, and that's kind of what she's mentioning here as well. So I'm just going to read this before we go over the last couple of transits of the month. So what is happening on December 21st? Are we entering the age of Aquarius? Short answer, no. We are entering an age of air. There is a great conjunction occurring on December 21st in the fixed air sign Aquarius. A great conjunction is when the planets Jupiter, ethics, and Saturn, structure, align. This event occurs every 20 years. The last Jupiter-Saturn conjunction was in the sign of Taurus, fixed Earth, in May of 2000. And before that, in the sign of Libra, cardinal air, in December of 1980. The 1980 Great Conjunction was the first that occurred in an air sign in nearly 800 years. And the 2000 Great Conjunction was the final conjunction in Earth for the next 800 years. From 1980 to 2020, we have been shifting from a focus on Earth, the material, to air, cognition. On 2021, we officially enter a 200-year era of Jupiter and Saturn, joining exclusively in air signs. The next great conjunction will be at 17 degrees, 55 minutes of Libra on 10/31/2040. And then at 0 degrees, 40 minutes, Gemini on 4/7/2060. Then on 11 in Aquarius, and so forth. This is a major event. Jupiter and Saturn are our social planets. Jupiter decides the laws, what is right, just, and moral, and Saturn provides the structure to implement them into society. Our laws and structures will begin to reflect the air element. Socially conscious, objective, detached, communicative, and compromising. She goes on to say, this is her Instagram, by the way, Virgo Moon Alchemy. Follow her. You will not regret it. I love you, Jilly. Jilly Moon Andromeda is her name. And she also makes handmade all-natural CBD candy and all kinds of like all-natural magical goodness. So definitely check out her store too. And, you know, shop small this holiday season. If you want to show her some love, show her some love. So many are confusing the precession of the equinoxes with the beginning of the 200-year Jupiter-Saturn air cycle. When people say Age of Aquarius, they are referring to whether, consciously or not, sidereal Vedic astrology, which follows the 12 zodiac signs through 12 constellations. Western tropical astrology follows 12 archetypes through the seasons and the Earth's orbit around the sun. In my humble opinion, our consciousness and our consciousness and psychological processes are influenced more by the changing of the seasons than fixed stars. For example, in Vedic astrology, my sun sign would be Pisces, even though I was born only a few days into spring. Every 2,160 years, I need to plug my computer in. Hold on. I thought I did that. Okay. Every 2,160 years, the heavens appear to rotate with a new sign rising behind the sun on the vernal equinox. We dove into this with a bunch of diagrams during our Ophiuchus Live. Pisces is the constellation ring on the vernal equinox, not Aries. And then she did some research and found out on ancientwisdom.com that the sidereal age of Aquarius, when the Aquarius constellation aligns with the vernal equinox, is projected to begin in 2160. Though she's read conflicting information on this. And I did too. I tried to do the math. I think it's like a little bit over 500 years we have to go until we're technically in the age of Aquarius. But you will see a lot of posts saying this. So, what do I have over here? Oh, those are the starseed things. We'll be there in a second. So let me go back to you guys are all still here. Anybody have questions? I will totally come back and look at the chat. I'm trying to stay focused, so this isn't like the longest video ever. I'm doing better than normal. Y'all know I'm long-winded. Okay. So we're going back to the chat and we are around Christmas. We're talking about how we have the Great Conjunction and how it was known as the Star of Bethlehem and how it signals huge changes in structure, in power structures, in ethics, in how rules, limitations, but it's a huge expansion and contraction at the same time. We're building new structures and expanding. This is something new, something we have not seen before. On Christmas, we also have Mercury trine Uranus and our sun square Chiron. So our sun is square Chiron on the 25th. This is going to be after Chiron has stationed direct. So we've already fully integrated that last Chiron cycle, and now we have started a new one. And this aspect to the sun, this square that occurs on Christmas, is going to be the first trigger point to kind of let us know what it is we're working on now. What is this next Chiron story? Is this some sort of like new teaching role model type energy that you're stepping into? Is this new wisdom that you are integrating, or is this some sort of new wound that has come up and needed processing? What did I write here? This is our first new introduction to our next wound, lesson, or opportunity to gain wisdom and heal. In order to become that hero that in order to become that hero of our own reality, you know what I mean? In order to step into our full superpower and then help others do the same. And this is where that new cycle is going to fully start and begin and be initiated on Christmas. How fun. Now, that same day, Mercury is going to be trining Uranus. Both of these planets are... Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. They have similar energy, and this trine has them working harmoniously together. This day, not only are you going to be triggered with these wounds or lessons or wisdom, or maybe an opportunity to teach. Maybe you'll be teaching something that you have integrated and learned to maybe a family member on Christmas. Whatever it may be, the same day that that's happening, Mercury is going to be trining Uranus. This is going to bring intense downloads, insights. It's going to be extremely activating, stimulating. Think like the mad genius, right? This is very electric, eccentric, often volatile and a little chaotic and manic energy. So be mindful and wear some grounding stones, go put your feet on the ground. You're going to be feeling, especially if you already kind of a vibe high like me, if you're really, I don't know, have hyperactive tendencies or are just really up in those upper chakras, this is definitely a month to make sure that you are grounding. Because the sun is going to come into that exact same trine the next day. The sun is just a couple of things behind, just a couple of minutes, a couple of degrees behind Mercury. So our sun is going to be coming into this trine with Uranus as well on the 26th. And this is bringing in those same downloads into our consciousness for our logical mind to be able to understand. So stay open and try to not allow all this information to come to you through other sources, like, because you can also dive deep into like rabbit holes of information and get lost with this type of energy. Allow time for these downloads to come through in a clear cognizance way, where you're allowing them to just flow into your mind. So find time to try and quiet this very active mind, which will be very active around this time. And it's going to be hard to do on Christmas, but try to find some time, because the alignments are there for these things to flow into your reality. So on the 28th, we have our Cancer full moon. So I am not going to dive too deep into this now. If you want to know all about this lunation, join us on Patreon. The full moon video is included in the $11 tier and above. And we're going to be working on healing and processing much of what this eclipse season brought up for us on an internal level. So this is going to be the first lunation after eclipse season. It's going to be a big culmination of emotions, of intuition, of deep internal processing of a lot. This is where we're really going to dive deep into the subconscious and work to process. So we're going to be doing that during our Cancer moon. I definitely recommend joining our Patreon if you want to know more, because I'm not really going to dissect the whole lunation here. But it is on the the live is on the 28th and the moon is on the 29th. And it falls at 8 degrees of Cancer. And hold on, let me see what I wrote here. Okay. So it falls at 8 degrees of Cancer. It's going to be trining Uranus. It's going to sextile Black Moon Lilith. So it'll be here. Let's find out what time it is. 29th. Okay, so it's going to be around 7 p.m.-ish on the 29th. And the sun is going to be conjunct Mercury. It's going to be making septile aspects, quintile aspects. It's going to be working with a lot of different planetary energies. So I'm not really going to dive too far into this now, but the moon in its home sign of Cancer always symbolizes the people. This is the people versus the system. So this is really going to be how the people feel about, and it has a lot to do with like the homeland as well. So this is really going to be a lot of like indigenous people as well. And I do know that that is one of the places they want to send the vaccine out first. So we really do need to make sure that we are standing up for a lot of different people at this point in time. But this is going to be a huge culmination of emotions when it comes to the people versus a lot of stuff that has happened here within this system. The sun and Mercury are going to be transiting over points that all of these Capricorn planets have been activating over the past year. And these are going to be shining light into a lot of things that we could not fucking see before. So this is all going to be coming to a head at this Cancer eclipse. But enough on that for now. On the 30th, Venus comes into a square with Neptune. So right after we start to see some stuff and we have a huge emotional culmination, we have our values. Venus is our values, particularly here in Sagittarius. Yes, this is like our relationships and our fun relationships in particular. but it also is our values around ethics and truth. And this is going to be coming into a square with Neptune, again, the planet of illusions. Now, this can trigger some sort of like creative project, yes, but this is really going to be funneling in just some sort of fantasy reality. Neptune rules film, Neptune rules plays, Neptune rules the reality, not the reality. Neptune rules the false reality that they are feeding the public through media, movies, and everything else designed to lead us astray through any sort of distortion or misinformation tactic. So we need to be mindful that our values, our ethics, and what we deem as truth is going to be in a combative energy with these Neptunian illusions. Now, this also is definitely going to be triggering some dreams. So be mindful and pay attention to the dreams that are coming through. Particularly while we're still in this eclipse portal, because those are coming from somewhere else and they definitely need to, they definitely require attention. So this Venus Neptune energy can make us make us really unrealistic when it comes to our loved ones. We won't be thinking in a logical fashion, or we'll be kind of like scattered. And it will have a focus on like our values, our money, and then like illusions around our loved ones. So like a lot of the illusions that could be coming through, mind you, this is going to be around Christmas, probably while people are with their families. It's a couple of days after, but coming up towards New Year's. And this is going to be while a lot of things are going to be happening in the world and people are going to be throwing their opinions at you. So a lot of the illusions that can be coming and triggering these values are coming up against your values and what you deem as true and the ethics that you hold could be coming from your loved ones, Venus. And yeah, we need to make sure that we are not letting the illusions that control our loved ones' realities to seep into our own. We need to think for ourselves and dive into all of the information that's coming through and just navigate through discernment. You guys know that's like my catchphrase. And then, oh, that's on the 30th that Neptune squares Venus. I meant to click over. Oh, I didn't because it's on hours. Okay, so then on the 1st of January, it should definitely be noted that Uranus stations direct. So if we aren't already protesting something by the first is probably definitely going to trigger something when Uranus stations direct. He's going to be stationing direct in Taurus, practically conjunct Black Moon Lilith, and which I believe he will be conjunct Lilith during the eclipse. And this is going to ask us on a personal level to rebel, break free from something in the house in our chart that is ruled by Taurus. But if you guys look, you see how it is connected to so many things through sextiles. Sextiles are the energy of magic. They're the energy of otherworldly magic and faded energy. And it's asking us to use something different. It's asking us to, we're not able to have the revolution and have it be successful the way we've done it before. We have to go about it differently. And Uranus stationing direct in, I wonder what time it stations. Let's find out. Wait, it's still retrograde. It stations direct on the 1st. Okay, hold on. Now I have to Google something. Now I'm confused. When does Uranus go direct? On the 14th. Okay, well, if we're not if we're not popping off by the end of I don't know why I had the first. You guys, I'm just ready for the revolution already. I'm like 2 weeks ahead of the game. So anyway, it stations direct on the 14th. So mid-January, we are, and it'll be stationing direct actually probably square. Let's find out. Square Saturn, Pluto. So 6. Yeah, it's practically, yeah, it's only a couple of degrees off. So it's already making that square aspect to the Great Conjunction, which is moving out. It's 2 degrees away. So yeah, definitely January is going to be eventful as hell. So yeah, I guess I was off by 2 weeks, but those are the major aspects and the major transits of the month. And I'm just going to dive into the starseed alignments really quick, and then we'll call it a night. So I'm going to go back over here so I can show this for a little bit. You guys can look at these slides, and then we'll dive into the chart. So these are our December starseed activations, major alignments. We have the supergalactic center all month with Chiron, the great attractor on the 5th, Ophiuchus all month with the south node. Our sun is aligned with Ophiuchus from the 1st to the 21st. Mercury is aligned from the 1st to the 20th. Orion, I'm trying to move this thing out of my way. Orion is aligned with the north node all month. And the sun is aligned with Orion from the 1st to the 21st, while Mercury is aligned from the 8th to the 20th. And then I picked this picture because I really do feel that once you start integrating the planets and the luminaries, and then you start to really work with these fixed star aspects, then you get to tap into something that is just beyond all of this. I really do feel that integrating these aspects of the self is key. And it's not about connecting to Orion, aliens from Orion or from Sirius or the Pleiades. These are all aspects of consciousness, as above, so below. These are aspects of yourself that you are working on integrating, and wisdom from your own self and your higher soul that you are working on integrating into your consciousness. So that's what we're doing with these points. And then we have our galactic center alignment actually kicks off during our eclipse on the 14th, with the exact alignment with the sun and Mercury occurring on the 17th and the 18th, and then continues on through the solstice, strongest through the 23rd. And then from there, it's pretty much over. We have Andromeda activations all month with Uranus. Uranus has been on the star of Andromeda for quite some time. Our Mars Andromeda Vertex alignment. So Mars will align with the black hole at the center of Andromeda galaxy from about the 25th to January 6th. And that will be exact on the 1st. And then we have Sirius and Lyra activations. So Mercury will align with Sirius. Mercury is the planet of communication. Will align with Sirius from the 27th to the 31st, and it will be exact on the 29th. While the sun will align from the 31st to January 7th and will be exact on January 4th. And then we have Lyra activation. So our great conjunction is actually conjunct a star in Lyra. So this is really starting a new beginning over from past timelines, past cataclysmic timelines of destruction, giving us a chance to fucking do something different. Mercury will be aligned with Lyra from the 27th to January 5th. The sun will be aligned from the 30th to January 14th. Mercury will come into alignment with the main star in the Lyra star system from the 28th to the 1st, which will be exact on the 30th. And the sun will come into alignment with Vega, the main star in that star system, from January 2nd to the 8th and will be exact on the 5th. What else do I have here slide-wise before we get into the chart? Oh, I just wanted to put this back in here. So this was a sigil that I made for my patrons for our last eclipse video that is designed to work with this Atlantean energy, this helping to balance polarities and find a clear path forward through all this Neptunian illusions and help you find truth and integration and oneness. So feel free to take a screenshot of this, put it on your phone, and yeah, I hope it helps you. Okay, so I can go back over here now. Okay, I'm just going to check in with the chat before I go over these Starseed activations really quick. I did this in an hour and a half, which is pretty good, guys, because y'all know I can talk a lot. So everybody's just saying hi, and then they're wearing their shirts. Hello, hello. Dreams, everybody feels the dreams, waking up at 3 a.m. Yeah, middle path, Kelly, for sure. Sun in Scorpio. Hi, Erica. Everything is truth with a lie. Yes, Kelly. 9, the number of endings. Yes. Yeah, I'm kind of legit worried about Elon Musk and mission to Mars with his new fortune. Yeah, I don't trust anything Musk does or says. Oh no, gonna be stuck in the car on Christmas. No, you might definitely be needed on Christmas. Maybe all the work and integration that you've done with Chiron is just what you need, and you're gonna have the answer. You're gonna have the healing medicine that somebody needs on Christmas, Kelly. So I'm gonna go over here really quick, and we're just gonna go over the starseed alignments of the day. I'm gonna show you kind of like where these things are. I hear Eddie in the other room cleaning his screens for all the t-shirts he's making. Hopefully it's not too loud. I'm almost done. All right. Okay, so all month we have Chiron in alignment with the supergalactic center. We've kind of talked about this throughout the this video, throughout this live, about how this is a huge wound integration, but also wisdom download. And it's coming from other realms. It's coming straight from your higher self, from source. You know what I mean? So, and the supergalactic center is a black hole. So it is open and willing to suck anything away from you that you are ready to let go of right now. So as we close out this Chiron cycle, as he is moving to station direct, find time to think, what is it I'm ready to let go of? What is it I'm ready to bring in? And open up a portal and suck it in, okay? Because the supergalactic center is here to work with you all month. But by the end of the month, it's moving out of alignment. So into like a larger orb. So I would definitely focus on that this month. We talked about how the sun came in alignment with the great attractor on the 5th. I just want to kind of talk about what's still coming up. So all month we have our south node aligned with Ophiuchus, and our sun and Mercury as well. And all of these same points also align with Orion, which falls opposite it. Now, this Ophiuchus-Orion axis is what's known as the gate of man and the gate of the gods. Orion symbolizes that split in consciousness, that duality. It also falls in Gemini, which is not a coincidence. And it really symbolizes like the transhumanist agenda and the false light matrix. It symbolizes the both sides of any sort of like polarized energy, and it's split. And then our goal here as humans is to come back into union here at the galactic center, which Ophiuchus helps guide us to. And this eclipse, entire eclipse story, particularly this eclipse season, and this eclipse on the 14th, which falls at the head of Ophiuchus on his third eye, is really helping us to find that sense of balance. Find that integration and integrate these two polarities within the self. That is the main goal of these two star systems. So that then we can start to ascend beyond that fixed star realm into something completely different and start to bring a lot of this energy in through these light blue and purple lines. Then we really start to be the conduit for magic. We have the Galactic Center activation starting to occur on the 14th during our eclipse, when our sun is only going to be about 3-4 degrees away from the galactic center, and the moon will make its connection that day. This starts to kick it off, and like I had said, this continues on through the 23rd. Definitely, and it will be very much active during our Great Conjunction and during the winter solstice. This is going to be a huge time. Do not be surprised if you are not sleeping. And again, find time to allow this energy to flow through. Do a meditation. I think I might release a video for you guys. I was going to wait until I had like 50 patrons as like a thank you for everybody signing up. I was going to release my intergalactic astral projection meditation, but I think I'm going to do it just as a thank you for everybody who's already signed up, as like a Great Conjunction surprise, you know, or maybe like as a because I'm launching my website that day, like as a, what am I going to say? What am I trying to say? I don't know what I'm trying to say. As a like celebration in, because my website is launching that day. So I think I'll release that for you guys. And it would be really great to do during this alignment, because we connect to the sun, to the galactic center, to the Andromeda Vertex, which is also activated this month, and the super galactic center, all of which is activated this month. So yeah, I'm really feeling called to release it for you guys. So for my patrons, that'll be released for free. I will send a post out. So Sirius and Lyra activations start around the 27th. So Sirius and Lyra fall opposite each other, just like, you know what? I can actually put them in here. Kelly taught me how to do this. Wait, I'm doing it wrong, Kelly. Hold on. What? I'm doing it wrong. What am I doing wrong? Anyway, I had figured out earlier how to put fixed stars in here, but I still don't really know how to use this software. But anyway, Sirius falls at 14 degrees of, I just have them memorized. I don't know how to put them in the software. Sirius falls at 14 degrees of Cancer, while Vega, the main star in the Lyra constellation, falls at 15 degrees of Capricorn. So whenever a planet transits one, that it is in opposition to another. So throughout this month, Mercury and the Sun are going to be transiting Lyra. They're going to be actually Saturn and Jupiter are as well. So Saturn and Jupiter are going to be falling right on top of a Lyra star. We talked about how that is really setting up a new beginning for us. I really do believe that humanoid life did not originate here on Earth. I do believe that it originated probably in the Lyra star system. I don't have any actual evidence to that, but the downloads that have come through for me are that our timeline that we're playing out here on Earth really had an origin point in the Lyra system, or with Lyran energy, and it didn't turn out so well. It had a lot to do with warring factions for power, and that same energy played out again in Atlantis, and it's playing out again now. And this great conjunction on the final star of Lyra, it's not in the middle, it's not the beginning, it's the last star, is really going to ignite this new chapter for us. We also have Mercury and the Sun transiting this point throughout the month, and they'll be exact on the 30th and the 5th. And this is, again, helping us to heal past timelines and integrate wisdom from these past cataclysmic events so they do not happen again. Atlantis is here to do the exact same thing. While Sirius, on the other hand, Sirius is the star of initiation. It is here to like legit wipe the sleep out of your third eye so you can just fucking see truth. And sometimes it does it in a brutal way, but usually it does it through some sort of like huge like awakening initiation process where like an immense amount of like synchronicities will occur, and then after that things will just not be the same again. So that'll really be happening with the sun on the 4th of January and Mercury on the 29th. And then our last major starseed location is Andromeda. Like I had mentioned, we have Uranus has been, and Black Moon Lilith has been transiting a fixed star in Andromeda for quite some time, and has really been triggering change within the twin flame collective, because Andromeda is the Milky Way's twin flame. They are destined to collide in 4.5 billion years, and their fates are intertwined. Andromeda is our twin galaxy. And Mars is going to be coming into alignment with the Andromeda Vertex, which falls at 27 degrees of Aries, and will be exact on New Year's Day. So this is really going to ignite. Mars is the planet of initiation. It is drive, action. It is that fiery, just igniting of that flame, and it is going to be aligning with the Andromeda Vertex. So this would be how you would look at like the year ahead. If you looked at the chart, you could, of the first day of the year, you can really get a taste as to how the year is going to play out. And we see a lot of change, a lot of rebellion, a lot of breaking free. And we also see a lot of solidifying of these soul connections. And that's really what we're heading into, is finding that soul family, solidifying those soul connections, and breaking free from systems. And that's going to be 2021 in a nutshell. But we're going to be coming up against a lot of Saturnian energy as well, because we can't break free all at once. We have to do it incrementally, and we have to do it right. And the revolution is here. It's not going to be televised, but it is definitely here. So I'm going to go back over to the chat. They do, Kelly. You said they have the Galactic Center and the Super Galactic Center too. I tried to find that all day today. I wanted to put in all the points, and I had found a couple of the fixed stars, but not all of them. And I like searched everywhere, and I couldn't find the Galactic Center or the Super Galactic Center. My other website, my other software has it, but I don't like the aspect lines over there. But maybe you can help me out, Kelly. I'm going to put my video back. I just wanted to end with one thing. So I use a lot of crystals in my practice, although now I've started to really been researching like the ethics behind them, and now I really want to make sure that I'm ethically sourcing all my crystals. But regardless, I have a bunch of crystals and I use them in my practice, and I wanted to really like tap in and see for some crystal recommendations for the month that you guys might be able to use. And what came through was fluorite. Fluorite is really going to help us focus so that we can use this, any sort of like downloads that are coming through, navigate the confusion, and not be so manic with a lot of the high energies that are coming through. Fluoride is really going to help us tap into the logical mind that really is wanting to activate right now and use it effectively, and not like some crazy mad scientist that makes no sense and nobody can even grasp the things that they're saying. They might be brilliant, but like nobody knows what you're saying. And then just quartz. And the reason, my nose itches so bad. I never wear makeup. So whenever I wear makeup, it's like I hate it so much. I have to wear it on camera or you can't see my face. So the other crystal that I picked was just quartz. And the reason I picked quartz is because so many different energies are going to be coming through. Like I said, Andromeda, Super Galactic Center, the Galactic Center. We have a lot of things coming through. We're in an eclipse portal. And quartz is really great at channeling energies, and it's programmable. So you can program it like, oh, it's January 4th, and I know that the sun is aligned with Sirius today, so I'm going to program this. Even go outside and stargaze. Sirius has been out every night, and it is so bright, and it is flashing, and it literally looks like Morse code. It's like red and blue flashes, and I just stare at it for a while and like integrate the consciousness of the star, just connecting to it. The universe runs on intent. All you have to do is intend to do these things. Draw your attention to a certain area, focus your consciousness on that particular point, and you're starting to integrate it. So quartz is really great at channeling in energies. So whatever it is, any of these star systems that you're trying to work with, quartz will really be a great way to help bring it in. If it has a point, you can point the point towards you, and it will be funneling the energy and pointing it towards you. And then petrified wood, which I just really, as somebody who's always up in those upper chakras, petrified wood is a lifesaver. I picked this up in Oregon. I think it's actually an Oregon native tree, and I can't recommend it enough. So those are my last little things I wanted to say. I had other notes I didn't go over, but I think I covered everything. And thank you, Kelly. Yeah, you were way more tech savvy than me. I'm so glad you have this software. It's really hard. I can like read charts, but I really don't really know a lot of it's completely programmable, this Solar Fire software. You can customize it every single way. And so it has so many settings that are really overwhelming for me. So I appreciate you so much, Kelly. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of these. And thank you, everybody. Oh, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I always forget to say that, but it really does help my channel, especially this video, because I am releasing these halfway through the month on YouTube to help build that up. And yes, I will keep everybody updated on my website launch. And I appreciate everybody. Have a safe rest of eclipse season. And yeah, I'll see everybody on the 12th for our eclipse video. And I appreciate you. Have a great night. Bye, Erica. Bye, Kelly. Bye, Melissa. And I will see you later.